Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to Mystical Munchies featuring Final Fantasy XIV Ultimate Cookbook. We made the entree last week, Farmer's Breakfast, that turned out to be really good. This week we're on to the dessert, Papanasi, which looks like it's going to be donuts. So, first up, let's tell the story. This is a recipe I learned before setting off on my journey with Mogria. The Zayla were fighting on the Azim steppe as usual recently, but this time they all seemed to be friends afterwards. I never thought I'd see the day where the tribes were working together, and it made me wonder if I could make a dessert with different layers that work the same way. At least, I think that's where the idea came from. Or perhaps I just got hungry and threw random things together. Yes, Namazu inspiration can come from anywhere. Good to know on that front, and yes, inspiration can come from very, very weird places. As usual, the ingredients are waiting for us at the table. This is also serving as kind of a lighting test. I'm testing the new drapes behind me, so I'm seeing how everything looks here. You guys can weigh in with feedback on if the lighting seems to be a problem here. But once again, the ingredients are waiting for us at the table, so let's head in that general direction. As you can probably guess by the rough split, we've got something of a three-part recipe coming together here. So we're going to need a cup of sour cream, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and a cup of sour cream for the sour cream sauce. For the Rolanberry Jam, we're going to need 3/4 of a cup of strawberries and half a cup of raspberries, both of which have been chopped up here, 3/4 of a cup of frozen cherries, half a cup of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. For the donuts, we're going to need 2 1/4 cups of flour, plus more is needed, plus flour for dusting, another half a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 cups of ricotta cheese, 2 eggs, a tablespoon of vanilla extract, a tablespoon of rum is optional, but I'm not using that, and peanut oil. With that, let's move into the kitchen. Actually, the peanut oil is just out of shot, so we'll bring that front and center. There's the peanut oil. With that, let's move into the kitchen and start putting this recipe together. This is probably too big a bowl for what we need, but it's what we're going to start with. So in a bowl, we're going to mix all the ingredients for the sour cream sauce until smooth. We're going to start off with our cup of sour cream, which I'm working on getting open. Let's see if we can get a cup of it out of here. Actually, rather than using that one, I'm going to go to a different measuring cup. Let's see, we can probably grab 3 of the 1/3 out. That should work better. There's 1. That's a pretty generous one, but we can probably work with that. I'll grab a spoon as well so I can work on scooping some of this out. Two. I'm not just going to empty the whole thing, am I? I might. And 3, and apparently I am just emptying this thing out. Okay. I'll scoop out what I can from here. Okay, I think that's probably as much as I'm going to get out of there. So that's our cup of sour cream, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and I'm hoping I've got enough of that. I've got plenty. Just. That can hit the bin. Tablespoon of lemon juice, which I've got my lemon juice right here. Right. It's going to go a lot faster if I unscrew the cap. Okay. That can go back to the fridge. And 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Give that a quick wash. It's a very heaping 2 tablespoons, but I think we can work with it. I'll put that back up as well, actually. Since I'm not emptying that, I'm not going to worry about washing the clip yet. But I'll go ahead and put the powdered sugar back up as well. And now I want to mix this up until it's smooth. Okay, I think that looks to be pretty good. So now I'm going to go grab my airtight container that I've got over here just off shot. I'm going to transfer this into here and I can store it in the fridge for up to a week. Let's hope it'll take everything it should. Ooh. We'll get a paper towel for that in a second. Okay, now we need the paper towel. See if we can scrape a little more of this out. Alright, I think that's as much as we're going to get out of there. So now I'll grab the lid, screw that in place, grab another paper towel so we can clean off the outside. And then we can keep that, then as I mentioned, we can keep that in the fridge for up to a week. So I'll put that in the fridge. And now we can move over to the stove. Setting a saucepan over medium-high heat, we're going to take all of the fruit. So I've got the raspberries and the strawberries right here. We're going to add our 2 tablespoons of another, this is the closed one. I want the 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I need the 3/4 cup of cherries. We're going to have to open fresh, but there are the cherries right there. Okay. Dump those in. And half a cup of sugar once I get the cherries put back away. I use 2 of the 1/4 cup to get to a half cup. Because multiplying fractions is a thing they teach you in school. So now we want to bring that to a boil. Grab another wooden spoon out for that. And what we're waiting for here is we're waiting for the sugar to dissolve. There we go. Just making sure I got my drawer closed. Definitely does not look like the sugar is dissolved yet. Once that does, though, then we're going to then I'm going to crush the fruit. Or smash the fruit, I should say. I think once it comes to a boil, it doesn't seem like it's wanting to come to a boil, which is kind of annoying. I'll step away from it for a little bit just to go get my drink real quick. Looks like it is starting to come to a boil. I'm not going to put the camera down over the top because I don't like getting the camera any closer to the saucepan, or anytime I'm in the kitchen. I don't like trying to get the camera down over top of over the top of anything hot, especially anything hot in oil. That just seems like it's asking for trouble. Okay, so everything is starting to come to a boil. I think once it comes to more of a rolling boil, then we're going to smash the fruit. Just keeping an eye on things in here. I'll get another container ready because I'm going to need another airtight container. It's just about to where I'm ready to start smashing fruit. Okay. Yes, I know this is not the exciting part of Mystical Munchies, but anytime I do anything with boiling, I like to watch it in real time. That way I'm a lot less likely to screw the recipe up. Okay, I think we're probably just about ready here. I think we are ready to smash the fruits. I'm going to go ahead and smash it up here. I've got my potato masher right here, so let's give this a smash. I'm probably going to, in the future, if I do recipes like this again, I'm probably going to need something finer than a potato masher to get the fruit smashed up. Trying to get some of these cherries crushed down a little bit more, but I think that's probably about as much as I'm going to be able to do. So what I want to do now is we're going to reduce the heat and simmer until the mixture reduces and thickens, which should take about 20 to 25 minutes. So I'm going to reduce the heat to about a 4. Actually, let's pull it down even a little bit further. Then we'll set a timer for 25 minutes, and we'll come back after that timer goes off. I had a constant eye on the jam as it was on the burner simmering. I was waiting for it to reduce and thicken, and it has thickened and reduced considerably. So what I'm going to do, and this is probably I'm debating if I want to transfer it right into the airtight container. The thing I don't like about it is it's plastic, and given how long that this was on the burner, it might survive. What I'm worried about, though, is that it's going to melt the container that I'm using. I was mostly checking the temperature on that, but what I want to do is I want to transfer this to my airtight container so it can cool for a bit. Let's see how this goes. Like I said, my instinct is that it should be fine. Let's find out. I mostly wanted to make sure the jam didn't scorch on me. Alright, I think that'll work. Let's see how the bottoms. Seems like it'll hold, so I'm going to transfer. So I'm going to get that closed up as well. Then I'm going to set a kitchen timer for 3 hours. Let's see if I can. Alright, I'm going to let that cool for 3 hours. Then once it's cooled for 3 hours, I'm going to throw it in the refrigerator, which, like the sour cream sauce, can be stored in the refrigerator for up to a week. I'm going to keep an eye on the container, on that container as best I can, just to make sure it doesn't do anything crazy on me. But we're actually going to sit on this for a couple days. By the power of editing, it's going to seem like a moment later, but in actuality, it's probably going to be about a day or two later before we come back to this. It's been a couple days since we put the sour cream sauce and the jam mixture together, so now we're coming back to this recipe. We're going to start off with a medium mixing bowl in which we're going to combine the flour, which we needed 2 1/4 cups of that, which I'm dropping the 1/4 cup on the floor. Let's do this over top of the bowl. 1, 2, and 1/4. You two can, the cups can move toward the dishes, but the flour is going nowhere. Well, the flour is just moving out of shot, but I'm not going far with it. I'm not putting it up, that's for sure. Then we need 1/2 cup of sugar. And unlike the flour, the sugar can go up. Then we want 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. There we are. Those can move over toward the dishes. The baking powder can go back up. And we'll combine all of this. Actually, let's get our hands in there. That might combine it a little better. Okay. I think we're pretty good there. I'll dust as much of that as I can Back into the bowl, and now we'll get another bigger mixing bowl in shot. I've got a larger mixing bowl in shot for this next step. For this next step, we're going to take our wet ingredients. We're going to start off with our ricotta cheese, which is probably going to give me a little bit of cussing and swearing. Not too bad. Mostly it's going to be, I think, in trying to get the plastic wrap off. Because we need 2 containers of this since we need 2 cups. Garbage. Clump. And we've got our second container of ricotta cheese right here. I thought this would be enough, but it turns out it won't be. I thought 1 container would be enough, but it turns out it wasn't when I worked out some conversions. 2 full containers is probably too much, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. Plus, by the time I get 2 cups, try to get 2 cups out, it's probably going to end up going through most of the container anyway. Or I'm going to run into a different problem where this isn't going to separate out as neatly as the other one did. And I'm going to leave that in there. I want the spatula for this. Whoop. Okay, there we are. That will all move over toward the dishes. All right, 2 eggs, which I've got right here. Hopefully, once again, minus shell. And 2 eggs. Okay, so we've got those in. Those can go away. A tablespoon of vanilla extract. Once I get the protective seal off. There we go, got that. I need to get a little more actually. Good enough anyway. Tablespoon of vanilla extract. Good thing I went and bought fresh. Because I realized I didn't have enough of that either. And here's where you'd add the rum as well if you're using that, but we're not. So we'll just go ahead, start working on a little bit of cleanup, mostly in getting stuff centralized, whether it's toward the dishes or put back away. Now we'll start combining this. I don't think there's a consistency that they're looking for on this. Nope, not on the wet stuff. See if we can break up the eggs. Okay. That seems like a pretty good consistency for where we're going for. So now we're going to take the flour mixture. So now we're going to add the flour mixture to it and mix it together. The result should be sticky but workable. And if it's too sticky, I can add more flour until I reach whatever texture I want. So let's put that in, and we'll start mixing this up. Actually, I'm going to use my hands to do this. This is probably going to be easier to do with my hands anyway. Yes, I'm going to have my arm in shot, but it's going to crank my arm too much if... It's going to be very cranky on the arm if I try to have it over top of the camera. Trying to get all of the flour in here. Okay, I think that seems pretty good. I'll see if I can get most of this out. And yes, I'm going to have my hands dirty in a second again, but I'm trying to get these mostly clean so I don't lose too much in washing my hands before I come right back into this. So I'm going to wash my hands and we'll bring this out of shot for a second. Actually, I'm going to wash my hands before I turn the camera off, because I don't want to get this on the record button. Okay, much better. Okay, now we're going to come back with the shot slightly changed. As you can see, the main change here is that I've generously floured a work surface. So now we're going to take the dough that we've got and we're going to shape 8 portions of them. They say they want you to divide the dough into 8 portions and place on the floured surface. We're going to shortcut that a little bit. So we're going to take our portions, shape them into a ball, then we're going to give it a donut shape and pinch the center to create a hole. Then we'll set that aside on the floured surface and we'll repeat that with the remaining portions. So I'll grab a portion of the dough. We'll go ahead and shape that into a ball. Alright, we'll work it down into a donut shape, and we'll see if we can pinch the middle to create a roughly donut shape. Okay, I think we've got that. So I'll put that on the floured surface. I'll do one more. Then I'll turn the camera off and we'll do the rest of these. I'll do the rest of these off camera. Then we'll come back to see the finished product. So we'll bring it back over here. Oop. Oh boy. Actually, I'm gonna shape it over top of the. I'm gonna shape it over top of the bowl. That's probably a better idea. Press it down into our donut shape. See if we can pinch through. Okay, there's another one. All right, now I'm going to turn the camera off. Actually, let me wash my hands off first again. All right, now I'm going to turn the camera off so I can make the rest of these donuts, and then we'll come back to take a look at the finished product here. Here are the results of getting all the donuts ready. As you can see, we managed to get holes in all 8 of them, so those are ready to go. But you might also be noticing that at the very tippy right side of the shot, we've got a very familiar setting. We'll come back to that. Actually, we'll talk about that a little bit now, but we'll come back to it when the temperature gets closer. So what I've done to the tippy right side of the shot is I've got a pot of peanut oil filled to a depth of 2 inches in my stock pot. And I've got it set over medium heat, and I'm heating the oil until it reaches 350 degrees. In the meantime, I've also taken a plate and lined it 2 layers deep with paper towel. So we've got all of that ready to go. I'm not going to move that any closer to the stove than it already is because of the floured work surface there. But we'll come back to the oil once the temperature starts to get a little bit closer to 350. The oil is almost up to temperature, so we're going to watch the last 8 degrees or so of the oil in real time. I think I finally figured out a setup for this thermometer where I can watch it where I can kind of lean here and have it facing me where I can watch it so I don't have to do any kind of special leaning with it. And you're going to hear the beep as usual once the oil comes up to temperature in about probably 30 seconds, if that. $3.49. Come on. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to turn off the probe as usual. Normally I would lift it out to go for the dishes at this point, but I want to leave it in there because I'm going to be needing to bring it back up to temperature. So now we're going to start taking the donuts. We're going to drop them in the oil. Easy does it. Oop. Without splashing myself. I think we can get one more in there. I should probably be using the slotted spoon for these. So now we want to fry these up for about... We're going to fry these for about 4 minutes, turn them over and cook them again for about 2 to 3 minutes longer. Then we'll move them over to the paper towel that we lined up. So we're going to watch, as usual, we're going to watch the first couple. As usual, we're going to watch the first couple fry in real time. Just to make sure everything goes nice and smoothly. We might actually be able to get one more in there, but I'm not going to put the third one in there now. So I think at about 48 we'll turn them over and fry them for 2 to 3 minutes longer. I'll start moving this over so I can maybe get the plate a little bit closer. All right, let me grab the slotted spoon here, maybe try to clear a little bit of room out. These first couple actually came out to be pretty big, but shouldn't be a huge deal, I don't think. knives out because I'm getting ready for the later step in the recipe. Just trying to get a couple of butter knives is all I'm trying to get to. There we are. As usual, I'm not putting the camera over the oil because hot oil. Looks like the bottoms there are browning pretty nicely. Let me push those down just a touch, even though I'll be flipping them in about a minute most likely. Looks like I've got one wandering over toward the probe. Admittedly, I've never made donuts before, so this is going to be really interesting to see how this turns out in the taste test. Actually, I could just set a microwave timers. Just double checking my times. Alright, now we can turn these over. Oh, look at that. Come on, turn. There we are. Set my kitchen timer over on the microwave for 3 minutes. And then once this timer goes off, we should be good to bring this first pair of donuts out over to the paper towel lined plate to cool. Okay. I'm just catching up with an email here. But I still have an eye on the donuts. Or we'll be hearing the microwave timer go off in about a minute. Okay, we'll get the plate ready. Okay. 3, 2, 1. There's your timer warning. So I'll lift the first two donuts back. I'll lift these two out, over to the plate to cool. Looks like they turned out great. I may need to prepare another plate, but one other thing I want to do, and this is the reason I left the probe in there, is I want to make sure the temperature, not there, I want to make sure the temperature stays around, oh shut up. Okay, pardon the beeping while I adjust the temperature. Okay. So it's good to know that the temperature is going to drop between fries. So I want to make sure I bring it back up to 350 before I start frying the next batch of donuts. Which I'm not going to bore you guys with the other batches of frying. Here, I'm doing, as usual, I'm doing the first batch live in real time so you guys can see how everything works. But I'm watching for the temperature to come back up. So yeah, this is going to be this is another one of those 5 Saturday months, which means we'll be needing a drink recipe when we get to next week's episode of Mystical Munchies. I also want to mention at this point in the video, and I'll shoot a separate video about this later, in case you're not one of my board game viewers, I'm actually going to be going away next week for Christmas, or this coming weekend for Christmas, so there won't be any videos from Saturday until I come back on Tuesday. So that's part of why I'm pushing this upload of Mystical Munchies up to so early in the week. This way it gets done and I don't have to worry about it when I come back. So I will be taking a few games with me over my vacation, mostly stuff I'm going to start learning to hopefully get on the channel next year. I still have a week left, but I think most of my schedule for the week between Christmas and New Year's is pretty much, well, I was going to say pretty much set, but I do have some openings where I could slide some stuff in, but I've got a rough idea at least of what I'm going to play the rest of the year. So, just wanted to give you guys a heads up in case you wonder where videos are, over Christmas weekend. Normally I am able to continue making videos, but between adding Mystical Munchies to the YouTube channel and some other things that have been going on with the family this year, I'm not going to be able to make videos while I'm on the other side of the state. So just don't want you guys to panic, but I hope you all have a very happy holiday season, depending on however you celebrate, and we'll come back to finish out the New Year strong. So this is just about to temperature now. There we are. Okay. Now you zip it. Alright, so now we'll bring the next batch of donuts in. I'm not going to use I probably should be using a spoon for this, but as sticky as these are, I don't want to risk having any of the donuts fall apart when I go to try to put them in. Is there enough room? I think so. Alright, so I'll set the timer for 4 minutes. And like I said, I'm not going to do the other batches of frying on camera. I just wanted to do the first one in real time. But we'll come back and take a look. We'll come back and take a look at the finished product once they're all done. These donuts look tasty, so we're going to get ready for the taste test. We're going to grab one of these. We're going to grab this donut right here. Turn over. I'm going to be at a little bit of a weird angle on the camera because I need a little bit of space to prepare. So, in order to serve them up, we're going to plate one of them. Then we're going to take some of the sour cream sauce, spread it over. And then some of the jam. I'm just putting the sour cream sauce back in the fridge. And here's the jam. Wow, that got thick. Put a little more on there. All right, I can put that back in the fridge. And then I will see you guys over at my desk for the taste test. I've got one of the donuts right here. Like I said, I've never made donuts before, so it'll be interesting to see how this turned out. But the only way we'll find out how it turned out is to give it a taste. So, bon appetit. Definitely like the consistency of it. Seems like everything's holding together. This is actually really good. I like the combination of the various fruits in here. It was definitely a lot of work to make this all happen, but let me take a quick little sample of the sour cream sauce. I think I would have liked that to be a little bit thicker, but it seems like it does the job here pretty well. But that's another episode of Mystical Munchies in the books. We're not quite done yet, though, because we do have a small product unboxing of something that just came in today, so I will meet you guys in the game room for that. I just got this delivery in from UPS earlier this afternoon, actually this morning. It's from Miniature Market, and it feels like it's really light. So let's crack this open and see what's in here. I'm expecting to be asking the question of why did they pack this delivery in this box? But let's find out what's in here, just out of curiosity. Nope. Oh, and it would help if I actually slice it open before I try to open it. And we can probably pull it like that. Really? We needed void fill for this? What we've got in here is more expansions for Warfighter. First up, we've got a multi-era expansion of skill and gear cards, adding 112 skill and gear cards to my loadout, providing stuff for Modern Daylight, Modern Shadow War, Modern Private Military Contractor, and the World War II expansions. Speaking of World War II, we've also got the Relay expansion. The stars are right. This World War II, Warfighter World War II Alternate History expansion adds 56 cards to your loadout, and we do have the Pacific Core game. But that will do it for this episode of Mystical Munchies. Next week we'll be making the last recipe out of the Final Fantasy XIV Ultimate Cookbook as we make the drink recipe, making a batch of lemonade. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.